to even begin. I mean, luckily you have two, right? If you're a twin parent, come and sit on the floor with me because you are part of the community. Did you know that your baby prefers your breast milk? Babies actually have the ability to smell your breast milk from samples of other breast milk. Did you know that your body produces different breast milk depending on whether you have a baby boy or a baby girl? A fed baby is of course best. If you are in a position to breastfeed, it is a wonderful journey and I want to encourage you. Breast milk is a wonderfully balanced meal. It is nutritious, it is always served at the correct temperature, and it gives your baby exactly what he or she needs at that moment. You don't have to plan too much, you don't have to worry about bottles and clean water and the correct amount of formula. It is a wonderful opportunity to bond. It improves immunity and it supports healthy development. If you're thinking about breastfeeding twins, there are many ways to walk this road. You can exclusively pump and feed them bottles, or you can nurse one while bottle feeding the other. I prefer tandem feeding. It saves time and it boosts your milk supply as you're latching a baby on each breast. Planning is key. Think about your environment, information, and support. Make this environment welcoming, safe, and comfortable for you, as you will be spending a lot of time in this area. Think about things that you like to do. I always have my earphones with me so that I can listen to podcasts that I'm interested in. A bottle of water is really helpful as you get thirsty while you're nursing. You can even consider having snacks nearby. Let's think about where you'll be sitting. I actually prefer the bedroom as it's a safe space. At first I had an armchair which I later found to be too narrow. I didn't feel like it supported me enough. So I later made use of an old armchair that was wide enough and which I felt helped. I definitely recommend having a system in place that allows you to breastfeed even if you're on your own. So I took my old armchair, pushed it into the corner of the room and pushed our bed against it. In that way to make sure that no one is falling off either way. I would bring the babies to our bed, and this was before they could roll. I would place them on the bed, get comfortable in my armchair and place the feeding pillow around me. I could reach out and put each baby onto the pillow as needed and allow them to latch. Let's look at the second point. Information. I would suggest that you get as much information as possible to give you the opportunity to make informed decisions. Remember, there's no perfect way of doing something, just the right way of doing something that is possible for you and which works for your environment with your specific circumstances. Let's talk about support. Ultimately, life is about meaningful connections. Inform those around you about the journey that you've chosen to take and ask them to support you in that. Now that we have planned what we can, here are some tips for the journey. Ensure that you're eating healthy and balanced meals and make sure that you're drinking enough water. There are many ways to latch a baby. Fortunately, the easiest way to latch a baby is with the football position, which is great news for twin moms. That means you'll have your baby's head on your breast and their little legs going under your arms, making it possible to feed two babies at the same time. The reason that the football position is the easiest to latch is because the suckling reflex is actually in the palate. So as soon as your baby feels the nipple against his or her palate, they will start to suckle. You can try this with a bottle as well. If your baby doesn't want to take a bottle or is perhaps too upset, you can press the teeth of the bottle also against the palate of the baby. Remember that this is a learning progress for both baby and mom. So take your time, take it slow, and be easy on yourself. See if you can latch each baby on their own. While we were still in the hospital, the lactation consultant actually suggested that I take off my top and my nursing bra all together, just to get comfortable with the babies and have them skin to skin. Remember to relax in your environment, so do whatever is necessary for you to feel safe and comfortable. If that means excluding people or things from your environment, that is also okay. I actually decided to alternate my babies between my breasts, especially since I have one lazy breast. I use an app for this, which is an app that I can highly recommend. It's called Parent Sense. It allows me to record a feeding, so I know exactly at what time my baby is feeding, how long my baby is feeding, and at which breast I nursed the baby. This same app, Parent Sense, also gives suggestions regarding feeding, sleeping, and activities that are age appropriate. Of course, this app is not necessary and you can track this manually. Breastfeeding is all about what you take out. The more you take out, the more you will take out. And what this practically means is that you need the stimulation to inform your body to produce more milk. An easy way to do this is to pump milk after every feeding. This will allow your body the opportunity to see that there is a higher demand and there should thus be a higher supply as well. Pumping milk is also a good idea to make sure that your baby is familiar with bottle feeding should it be necessary. If you do decide to rely more on bottle feeding, remember that between the hours of 2 and 6 a.m., your prolactin levels are the highest, which means that you get out the most milk. Thankfully, while you're in hospital, you'll be surrounded with experts. And I'm sure they'll also tell you that skin to skin is very important. Have your baby naked and have your baby naked against your own skin. The first milk is very nutritious, so although it might be just a small amount, it will give your baby exactly what he or she needs. It's called colostrum and it's got a yellow color. Even if you suspect that your body is not supplying enough milk, continue latching your baby. This will send your body the signals that it needs to produce more milk. Don't be hard on yourself. Supplement if needed. Give your body a time to adapt and give your baby the opportunity to learn to drink from you. Our bodies were created wonderfully. And just by sniffing your baby, your body will know what to produce in the breast milk, be it antibodies or anything to support the immune system. If you're pumping milk, you will notice that the color and the consistency of the milk continually changes. During summer months, you might notice that your milk is more white and it's got a more watery texture, and it's to provide hydration. And during the winter, you'll notice a thicker consistency with more fat. There are many myths about what you may and may not eat while nursing. Of course, you need to discuss this with your doctor. And I think it's wise to steer clear of alcohol and medications that are not safe for breastfeeding. But to share from my own experience, I've eaten beans, onions, curry, cheese, chocolate and milk, all of course within moderation as part of a balanced diet. What you eat may affect the taste of your breast milk, and that early exposure is also very good for your baby. It is safe and even recommended to breastfeed while you are sick in order to provide your baby with the best possible antibodies. Newborn babies do feed long. As they grow and become stronger, the time will automatically decrease, and you don't need to be concerned about that. I remember my newborns fed for about 40 to 45 minutes per feeding. Sometimes they would even fall asleep at the breast. As the baby grows and gets stronger, you'll notice that the nursing time decreases. We went from 40 minutes to 20 minutes to 12 minutes until right about 5 minutes. New studies show that it's actually not necessary to burp your baby. All you have to do is keep them against your chest and give them the opportunity to be comfortable. One of our babies was quite a spitter, so it's also a good idea to have a burping cloth at your station. When it comes to reflux, be careful of self-medicating and rather speak to your doctor. As you start this journey, your breasts may be sensitive, and believe it or not, it will get better. Use all the support you can get. If you need a cream, if you need a better nursing bra, if you are experiencing pain during your breastfeeding, rather consult with a lactation consultant. Mastitis. I actually did get it twice. The first time was when my babies were about 9 months old and they dropped one night feeding, for which I didn't get up to pump, and that did cause inflammation in my breasts. Unless your doctor recommends waking your baby for a feeding, it is not necessary. Your baby will in clear terms tell you when it is time for feeding. Feeding and sleeping is a topic for another day. But remember that a small baby has one longer stretch per day of up to 4 hours. It's important to manage your expectations with that. Remember that what you're doing is extremely special. I remember while we were still in hospital, a nurse knocked on the door and asked if she could see me tandem feeding the twins, as she's never experienced that. Before I could even give her an answer, my husband invited her in. He was so proud of what we have achieved. Kindly note that I'm not a health practitioner and you should always consult with your medical team. Thank you for sitting on the floor with me. You are part of the community.